This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Pillar Performance, Australia's leading sports micronutrition brand, providing high-strength formulations to support recovery, elevate energy, and relieve joint inflammation for endurance athletes.
That your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. I want you to come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place. Under cover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking.
Welcome to episode number 237 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week of the show. If you're on Patreon, this is coming to you a day later than usual, so sorry about that. It should go out everywhere else at the same time. Big episode, this one. It's a bit to discuss, some running news from all different places in the world, some Commonwealth Games selection discussions that we need to have about who's on the team so far and who's not on the team so far. Listen to question, Moose on the Loose, a bit of training talk, and we're going to catch up with Richard Welsh to promo the Launceston Running Festival, which is coming up in about a month's time at the very end of the show. Welcome to my co-host, a bit nasally tonight, a bit sick, Julian Spence, down in Anglesea. Welcome to you.
Thank you. I'm a bit sick, you're right. I got a cough. It's mainly a cough, actually, it's the only thing. And I got a sore back. I hurt my back yesterday in the gym, just at the home gym up in the upstairs bedroom, doing some ab rollouts on the wheel. You know the wheel? You used that before?
Never used it, but I've seen Instagram videos of it before.
Yeah, it's good for blokes with big six-packs like me. But occasionally the back takes over, and I'm lying on the couch right now. Occasionally I'll mute the microphone when I go into a coughing fit.
Okay. Well, thanks for still showing up. That's always good commitment from you.
Hey, Des Linden, keep showing up.
Keep showing up. What was your mate, Tin Man Croaks? Keep the ball rolling, wasn't he?
Keep the ball rolling, yep.
Good work.
The ball hasn't been rolling for Moose recently.
He's in the water,
isn't he,
Croaks?
What are you talking about? Downhill at the moment. Ball's going downhill.
Mate, the big snowball has just stopped, and now you've got to try and get it rolling again.
Yeah.
Just hard work.
Just lodge something. But I felt like this was a good week until right now. Did a bit of running.
We'll hear about it in a second, but welcome to you also, Croaks. Quick introduction of you before we start. How you going?
Yeah, good, Brady. I like this time of year. Diamond Leagues are back. Like every couple of weeks now, you wake up on generally like a Friday or Saturday morning and watch the replays of all the races. So I guess the international track season's just getting started, which is always exciting.
I must admit, I didn't even mention it at the end of last week's show because Doha Diamond League completely snuck up on me. I thought there was a week. I didn't know Stewy was going straight from Gels Park Relays to Doha Diamond League. I thought there was a week in between.
Yeah, and then there's one in the UK this weekend, and then the following week. So there's a lot to look forward to.
I was just checking Instagram and saw that Ollie Hawes landed in the UK, so I expect he'd be in action this week.
Yep, Birmingham.
Have you got fields? We might talk about at the end of the show. If not, we'll get them while we're going.
Yeah, I'll try and find some.
But Moose, you tell us about your week because the Strava's a bit more action, a bit more happening.
More running action anyway.
Yeah, well that's what we're here for, aren't we?
You might have muted the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, I just never pay attention to cross training from anyone that often, but I like seeing the run stuff back on there.
Yeah, well, it started with Tuesday, was it? No, Monday, 3x7 minutes, and that all went pretty well. I did that around the river in Anglesea. Took a minute in between, was all good. Then 2 days later, I'm still on alternate days. So 2 days later, ran on the treadmill actually. I had to sort of get it done, combine it with a gym session. So the gym I go to the RACV resort in Torquay. That's where I got the membership, and they've got pretty good treadies. The gym's always really quiet. It's real clean. It's got good equipment, but it's hot. It's right next to the pool and the sauna and the spa. Like they're in the kind of the next room, separated by glass. And I reckon there's something about like the heat and humidity that seeps through, because it was just like a really unpleasant experience jogging on that treadmill. There's no fans, there's no aircon. So yeah, I'm not going to do that again in there unless they have a hot race coming up. Then it would be perfect. I did. What did I do then? I'm going to say I did 2 by 11 minutes, something like that, and with a minute between. And then went down to Great Ocean Road on the Friday. So we had an expo spot, and we worked with Brooks down there. Well, a couple of our staff did all the weekend, and got down there Friday. Arvo went to the event expo and set up the marquee, and then we ended up getting accommodation down in Skeens Creek, which is about 5k out of town down the coast. You would run past that, Brady, when you've done the half marathon.
Yeah, so like in between Apollo Bay and Lorne, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
In that direction, like you're not going further than Apollo Bay, 5k.
No, I'm going on the way back. Yeah. So you pass it in the half. It's a little township. Oh, it's just a township. There's no shops or anything, but it's quite hard to get accommodation at Great Ocean Road. Logistically, it's a battle, that whole event. So we got some last minute stuff way up on the hill, about I'm going to say like a K straight up a hill, and it overlooked Apollo Bay. It was pretty nice in the end, just away out of town. And then so we worked the expo on Saturday while the 14k, 6k and the kids race were going off, and all the marathoners, people were picking their bibs up. So for this race, most people do stay in Apollo Bay, a lot stay in Lorne, and there are a couple of day trippers, but the majority of the athletes are in Apollo Bay. So there was a pretty big vibe down there around those 14k, and the shorter races is quite good. They have a waiters race as well, or a I don't know what they call it, but the bar. I think they get the local pubs and restaurants or whatever,
hospitality workers.
Yeah, and they have them carry a tray with a beer on it, and there's a race carrying that down the main street. So that was pretty cool. I saw a bit of that. But so that night after the expo, I went out for a jog, and Louis down there, he's man behind Steigen Socks. He former Comm Games representative. Talked about Louis. He's been a guest.
He's been a guest on the show. Yeah, 2006 Comm Games with a 5k with Mottram. That was the other Australian in there.
Geelong athletic stalwart. So we were we went out for a jog. I actually saw him jogging, and then he turned around and ran with me for a bit. It was a pretty sad sight, us two jogging along at like 5 minute 20s or 30s, I reckon it was. You would have looked and gone, look at these old hacks.
Yeah.
He's a funny man though. So I did 15 minutes straight, then I walked for 90 seconds, and then I jogged 10 minutes. And it went well, so that was good. Like I felt like a bit of momentum coming, and then worked the expo Sunday. By the time we packed up, got back home, it was about 5:30, and I'm running alternate days. So that was it, 3 runs only this week for a total. It's only showing me my run. What is the combined running and cycling together?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Strava's lost the plot a bit as well. If you noticed on the phone recently, if you click on somebody's run, it takes you straight into the map. It's really annoying. Have you done that recently, Croaks?
No, I don't look at it on the phone that often. I use a computer generally.
Yeah, it's annoying. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many Ks because it's not letting me. But I'm going to go off the top of my head, 15.
Yeah, you've done 5, 4, 4. Yeah, pretty close.
It's not. It's my best week in a long time, so I'm taking it.
Average distance last 4 weeks, 8.3k.
It's increasing though. It's a bit up on last week, so here we go.
Yeah, take that. Heading in the right direction. Just got to kick this sickness and you'll be good.
It's my back that's letting me down right now. The old back. The old fucking back. You know, and it was because I hired a van for this weekend. It's just because all the expo stuff, doesn't fit in my ute. So it's a new seat, drive down the coast, roadworks on the way back, packing it, unpacking it, putting marquees up. And the sleep. Like, Bree and Pia joined me. Pia's sick. She stayed in a porta cot next to my bed, coughed all night. I didn't sleep at all for like 2 nights. It was it was fucked. And on the Saturday, I reckon I was trying to work it out before. I reckon I interacted with at least 800 people, like personal one-on-one interactions, because I looked at I reckon that was what it was, 800 people. That wears you out. That like drains you.
Yeah, it's like being a school teacher, eh, Croaks?
Mate, with all this
interactions.
With all this whinging, Moose, you could get a start on Inside Jogging podcast, I reckon.
Come on, mate. I'm not that bad.
I reckon you've got to get more white collar, Moose. Just be paying someone to do this blue collar stuff.
Yeah, you're right. You are right about that.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a big dog in the shoe world now. Like, surely there's some hacks out there you can pay $15 an hour to do this stuff.
Yeah. The problem is
vans, unloading shoes. You're too good for this.
You don't see the CEO of Qantas in there bloody cleaning the planes, do you?
Exactly.
You like
good analogy.
Good ideas right here. So if anyone wants a job at the running company, Geelong, I've got an email. You can send it to me. $15 an hour, you reckon, Brady?
What's minimum wage? I know it's been in the news recently. What is
it? It's enormous. Minimum wage is enormous.
Is it 21 or something?
No, well, in my industry, it's 27 point something. Fucking heaps. That's crazy. That's more than I make. I should go back on minimum wage. I should go work for someone and make minimum wage.
Yeah, well, skilled workers, we need them. Good week. We'll hear more about Great Ocean Road, the results of the event later on when we get to the news. Croaks, you've been murdering training. I'm looking forward to hearing about this, because every day when I check Strava this week, something good popped up from you. This man is fit, Moose. Fit.
Yes.
Monday fit.
Monday, I did Moose's total week. So I ran for an hour. Did about
it's having a dig here, Moose, isn't he?
14.5K. And then Tuesday, I got out in the morning for just a lap of Mulligan's, to 7.5K, and then tracked that night. So I was back to K reps. So I did 10 by a K. Fastest one was 3 minutes. Slowest one was 3:09. Averaged around 3:05. Had help on 3 of the reps from this young guy, Ewan Shingler. His mum actually represented, I think, Ireland at World Cross one year, and he's an orienteer. He's actually heading overseas for like the World Orienteer Champ. So he helped me out for sort of 3 reps, and then I was sort of on my own for the other 7. But felt really, really strong actually. So I think my previous average about a month before was like 3:08. So I've been happy with the way that this session's progressed. Like, was it February? I did 6 by a K at around 3:30 after my calf and COVID, and that was a pretty hard session. So happy with where the fitness is. I actually wore the New Balance RC Elite version 2, and like when we first got these, like I wasn't a massive fan at all, and I think it was largely because of just the way that I was moving. It just, I don't know, the position of my hips or the way that my foot was hitting the ground, but I just didn't feel like I was getting any pop whatsoever. But put them on and actually quite enjoyed running in them. So that was Tuesday night. Wednesday after work, just drove straight from work. I knew the rain was coming. Managed to get about 10 minutes of rain-free running, and then the last 90 minutes was all in the rain, but it was really that light sort of misty rain, and it wasn't super windy, so it was actually pretty nice running conditions. I did an hour 40, 4:08. Thursday, just jumped on the treadmill in the afternoon because it was a pretty shitty day, and it's like my easiest sort of day of the week. So did 10K in about 46.5 minutes according to the treadmill. And then Friday morning, just ran from home on the bike path, so I did 35 minutes. Then that afternoon jumped on the treadmill for my session, and it was something that I did a few weeks ago. So I do 8 minutes tempo, 2 minutes hard to solid / hard, and then 90-second jog. And I do 3 sets of that continuously, so it's 33 minutes. So for the 8-minute tempo, I had that at 18k an hour, which is 320s. The 2-minute hard was 19.5k for the first set, which was like 305s, and then the last 2 sets were at 20k an hour, or 3-minute Ks, and then the 90-second jogs were 4-minute Ks. So just under 10k in the 33 minutes, which was a little progression from the previous time I did it. I had the tempo about 5 seconds a K slower. The 2-minute reps were pretty similar. So that was that. Saturday, just a double, hour in the morning, and then 32 minutes around Mulligan's in the afternoon. And then Sunday, it was another wet run. But once again, it wasn't super windy or that cold, so it was actually quite enjoyable. Ran with Rob, he ran Canberra Marathon. He's now going to do Gold Coast. So I did 2 hours 15, 32.5k, 409s. It was actually probably one of my best long runs, like in terms of how much energy I had throughout the run, and even at the end, like I felt like I had 15, 30 minutes. Felt really good. So it was a week of 158 or 7, about 157k. So yeah, ticking along pretty well, I think.
Yeah, very impressive week. Hey, Brad, I've noticed that the 2 hours has gone to 2:15 for the Sunday, and the midweek long's gone from 90 to an hour 40. Yeah. So you've increased the load, but you've also increased the speed of the workouts because you're probably generally fitter. I'm concerned, though, that people often say, and I like this rule, that you shouldn't increase both at the same time, and I don't want to see you getting injured again. There's not a question there, it's just a statement.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Don't get greedy, I reckon, because you're just smashing it.
Yeah. Is this coming from the guy that runs 31k on a Thursday before a session on a Friday?
Yeah, pretty much, which I did last week as well. But I'm just concerned for you that you're going really well. Just don't want to see you injured.
Thanks for your concern, but I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm
worried about this at Launceston Moose. This bloke's going to beat me. I don't think I could do 10 by 1k at that pace off a minute.
Well, aren't those 1Ks, isn't the rule on them supposed to be like they're a lot easier than that? Is that what is the goal behind the 1Ks? Like when you go in there, what's the intensity that you're supposed to hit? Is it like 10K?
Like 10K, between 10K and 10 mile.
And you average what?
That's a big window though, isn't it?
Average 305s. My quick, I had one rep at 3 minutes. My quickest, so other than the 3-minute rep, my quickest was 302, which was 10k pace, and my slowest was 309.
So you've probably done it at a 30-minute pace for the day. That'd be fair. You reckon you could have done a 30-50 on Tuesday night?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know why every week you guys are just trying to pick things out of my training.
I think it's good.
I'm not biting. I don't care. I'm happy to keep doing what I'm doing.
We're asking you questions, mate. Why do you get so defensive?
But it's like
all the time defensive.
But
you're the only one you're running well. We ask you questions. Yeah. We want to learn.
But then Brady's like, "Oh, I'm worried you're going to get injured." Like,
that's a fair comment. The intensity increasing and the load increasing.
So, I did the 10 by a K before the Sydney 10, and I averaged 308s. Now, I would like to think that a race brought me up, and so when I was running 308s before Sydney 10, for the same effort, I'm now averaging 305s.
Yeah, so you're saying...
So effort-wise, yes, the pace has increased, but my effort is the same.
Yeah, I'll pay that. Yeah.
Like that's the whole idea whole idea of training and then going into a race to bring you up, so that your training should actually improve, but the effort's the same.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, so really you just increased load. You haven't increased intensity at all.
Well, not really, no. Hopefully I've just got fitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Good week. He's in shape. I like it. I just want to see you stay in shape. That's all. I'm a conservative man. I'll go through my week, I had a really, it was pretty stock standard week. It was good not having a race on, actually, so I could actually do some stuff without a cross-country race to worry about. Kicked things off on Monday morning, did an hour, 12.9 5K at 4:38. Then the afternoon, got out for 30 minutes after work, 4:26s. Tuesday, met up with Archie. We did last week's training talk session, correct, 6 by 6 minutes off 90 seconds. Averaged about 3:11 pace for the 6 by 6 minute reps. Last one, we got rolling a bit more. I think that was like 3:08 average. But yeah, I'd love to say that I think this was probably 60-minute pace that I could hold on the day. I was a bit tired off the back of the travel to Melbourne, the cross-country race, and the 2 hours on the Sunday. I find when I have the weekends where Saturday and Sunday are pretty stressful things, that Tuesday, the pace, I've just got to back the pace off because it's coming a bit harder. So we did that off 90 seconds jog. Good workout though. I like 6-minute reps, and you get some good distance in it in the end. So it was like 12.8k at 3:23s. Got out for nearly 10k in the afternoon Tuesday night. I had the organisers of this fun run. They wanted to see the actual course that we kind of had mapped out, so they were both on the bike, and I just ran it as my second run. Which was good to have some company and.
Bit short, mate.
Yeah, well, 6. Well, you can kind of see. Oh, you probably can't see on the map there. They don't want to cross. We had to take like this bit of a loop out where the 400 metres is missing from, so we don't have to cross a road. But we're going to find 200 metres, further up the track. And this isn't going to be certified. This is going to be measured on my Garmin, and then it's going to be pretty close to 10k. So,
don't you have a wheel? You got a wheel?
Well, you do have a wheel. My wheel broke though. I was collecting wood. I had the wheel in the boot of my car, and I chucked a stump on it and snapped the wheel. So, I don't know if I'd be keen to walk 10k with a wheel. It's a long way.
You need one of those things for the bike, like the
the clickers.
The official ways. Actually, on that, we did get the email from Dave Cundy explaining how we'd fucked up, talking about it last time.
Standard for us.
Yeah.
Which was the main point we stuffed up was if you
10%.
Yeah, you said it could be. Yeah.
No, I didn't say 10. Did I say 10%?
Look, I read the email and I'm like, I didn't do any of these comments. I'm pretty sure 90% of the comments it was correcting come from you, Moose.
Yeah. No, I thought I went on the website and had the briefest of reads. I've got to do more than that, but at the same time, explained it pretty well. Dave did, and fair to say you won't be following that strict protocol, Brady.
Not at this fun run that's raising money for charity. No, we won't be.
Did you find? I found it interesting in that email that so after Kipchoge's world record in Berlin, it gets remeasured to make sure that, and that's why I think they want to make sure that the certified courses are at least that distance, because if something, if a world record or a record is broken and then they re-measure it and it's under, then the record is not going to count. So they need to make sure that they're definitely over the distance.
It happens more than you think. Remember it happened in England that time? And the chick broke the half marathon world record, but it was remeasured. It was last year, I reckon.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember
not the
an
5K
event.
one.
No, it was a half marathon.
Wasn't the Norwegian? Didn't the Norwegian girl run something quick? And
I thought it was an Ethiopian. It was an Ethiopian.
It might have been.
There's been a few.
Ualaw, that.
Yeah.
And then she Yeah, it's interesting stuff. So the rule was that if it was a 10k race, they would measure it 10 meters longer, not 100 meters longer.
Yeah, or it needs to be measured to the point that it's at least it's going to be longer. It's going to be longer than 10 kilometers.
10K.
Yeah. So that if it gets remeasured again, it's not going to come under.
Yeah. That was good. Then on Wednesday, I just got out for an hour in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon. Thursday, got stuck in that rain you're talking about, correct? So I did an hour 45, 4:15 average. That kind of misty rain, but it gets you wet. And then when you're wet, you're cold. And I made a bad choice of where I ran as well, just these dirt roads. I was doing a bit of ice skating. Just like you can see on my map there, it's probably 8k in one direction down a dirt road. The rain was just coming in sideways, feeling sorry for myself. Really character building, mental strength to get through that one. So I've just seen a comment here as well from Aaron Scott about me needing to hide up a bit here, I think. Then I got out for 30 minutes that afternoon. Saw the Southern 80 getting set up, Moose. You're a big fan of the Southern 80, aren't you? Boat race. Goes down the Murray River.
What sort of boats?
You never heard of it? Speedboats. 80 kilometres from Torrumbury to Echuca. You never heard of the Southern 80?
What, they're allowed to go hell for leather down the...
Yeah, I think they do 80k in like 28 minutes or 30 minutes or something.
So there's no speed restrictions or anything?
This is like super class, yeah. So they have like different categories, but the super class guys go super quick and like heaps of bends in the Murray River. Yeah, it
sounds dangerous.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty sad. Like it's pretty regular that someone will die most years.
No.
Yeah, yep. You heard of it, Croaks?
Someone will die most years.
Yeah.
There's skiers behind it. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. Skiers behind it.
So it's the skiers that die.
This is a legitimate thing.
Some of the boats crash as well sometimes.
Yeah, right.
How many people died in the Southern 80? I should have researched this. Probably.
I've heard of other ones like there's other rivers like bridge to bridge like competitions and stuff like like I know it's a thing like
There was two
speed skiing or whatever.
Maybe not every year, but there was 2 deaths in 2 years, not so long ago. It's pretty sad when that happens. So they were setting up. So the finish line is like right in the middle of Echuca there. So they were setting up they have like corporate tents and the carnies are in there, like Ferris wheels and stuff like that. So that kind of ruined where I run usually, but that was good to see a bit of that stuff coming to town. Met up with Archie again on Friday, did some 2-minute efforts, kind of like that low 3-minute pace off a minute jog, did 8 of them. That was good, just tick the legs over. This is like my weaker session for the week, just like maintenance, not trying to gain much fitness. And then Saturday was easy in the morning, 70 minutes, and then got out to Barmer Pine Forest, boys. Been going out to Barmer a bit recently, but staying away from the pine forests because you've got to wait till it gets a bit of rain, so the sand in the pine forest kind of firms up a bit. And it was nice in there. Love running in there, jumping over the pine cones. Did 2 hours, 20 minutes at 4:15 pace. Nath was there for 2 hours of it, and then 20 minutes solo at the start. Yeah, good week. 173 Ks for the week. Which is good. So got 4 races in 4 weeks coming up in June. So I've kind of planning to do 2 heavier weeks, bigger weeks now of some Ks, and then pretty much it'll just be race, recover, maybe do a light session, race again, come middle of June to kind of the middle of July. So good week, nothing special.
You'll do 1 session for the week and then race and then a long run and then another session during the week the next week and then race on the weekend?
Something like that. It finishes with Gold Coast half as the 4th race, but I'm just opening my calendar now. I think, so it starts with Launceston 10, and then I think I'll probably jog through, because that's on the Sunday, I'll probably jog through until the Thursday maybe and do like some 1 or 2 minute efforts on the Thursday, and then do the Cruden Farm 12k cross country on the Saturday. And then
When's Bendigo? Isn't Bendigo...
No, this isn't including Bendigo. Bendigo's in a couple of weeks. That's 28th of May. This is like a block of racing I've got like from the 11th of or the 12th of June through to Gold Coast half marathon.
So you're going to have 28th of May?
Yep.
Then the
4th of May won't be a race.
4th of May? No, the 4th of June.
4th of June.
4th of June, yeah, sorry. And then 4 races in a row. 5 races in 6 weeks.
So that is, So that the 28th of May to the 4th of June there is no week in between.
No, he's not. So he's not racing the 4th of June.
The week,
yeah. Oh, no, right. I thought you said you were.
So he's got one. Yeah, so he'll race, have 1 week off, and then he'll have 4 weeks in a row.
Yes.
So what are the 4? Launceston, Gold Coast.
Yeah, so start with Launceston 10, and then Cruden Farm round 3 of the cross country, which is 12k cross country. And then there's the cross country relays, the Eckerton relays down near Ballarat. Which are different distances. So like I think it goes from 3k to 8k for the different legs there. So which is
St Anne's?
Yeah, in the winery there, yep. And then the Gold Coast half marathon after that. So it's going to be an interesting time. But I really just like the cross country races are really the second workout for the week, or potentially the only workout for the week. And I might even look to do like a midweek long run, because it could affect the prep for Gold Coast. But we'll see what happens. You just got to listen to your body through all that stuff. So that's that, fellas. Nothing much to report there. Should we thank some Patreon supporters? Croaks, you want to go first?
Yep, I'll kick it off. So I got Kirk Braun this week. So this information maybe not 100% sure if it's correct, but we think Kirk runs for Peterborough and Nene Valley in the V45 category. PBs of 15:49, 33:27 for 10K, 73 for the half, and 2:37 for the marathon. Ambassador for Sublime Racing, England Masters Marathon team member, British Masters Marathon silver medalist, and 2019 Cam's Road League champion. Got a bit of ink, which we know Brady loves, including a butterfly. So hopefully that information's correct, and thanks for your support, Kirk.
Hope it is, because there's a bit of information in there on him, isn't there?
It's good running. Like if they're recent PBs and he's like over 45, that's good running.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty recent, I think. Moose, who you got?
I've got Dixon Sido. So Dixon has no known relatives, no previous employment, no known address. He is a John Doe.
Couldn't find anything on Dixon.
But he's a Dixon, so that counts for a lot if you're a Dixon.
Dixon Cider.
What's that mean?
Don't know. I couldn't find anything on it.
What does it mean? What's Croak's joke about?
What was his joke?
Dixon, the marathoner, Kiwi.
That
Dixon.
was the last name.
Dixon. Yeah, I know, but
Yeah. I got you. It was Dixon. Yeah.
I still love that. Every time I think about that interview, I giggle. just the way he referred to himself as Dixon
and the finish, the very end, when he thought the mic was turned off and it wasn't. And then he give me a good old, for fuck's sake, that went on. Oh, God.
We should get him on for a follow-up.
Yeah. No, he won't be coming back.
Won't be replying to those emails. I'm going to thank Ian Hamlin from Bicester in England. 21.24 for 5K, 45.34 for 10K, 2.27 for the half, 4.35 for the marathon. Take your pick there, Moose.
Oh, wait. You got to give me a heads
10,
up.
doesn't it? I mean, give you a heads up. We ask you this every time in Patreon. I'll keep talking, though. He's a member of two clubs on Strava, Brooks and Hoka. So, Ian, get onto the Inside Run podcast group on Strava. Join that one. We can see your training and stuff and how many Ks you're doing for the week and all those kind of things in the leaderboard there. He's currently building some nice skyscrapers on Strava as well. So, consistency is key, and Ian's ticking off that consistency at the moment. What do you reckon, Bruce?
10K.
10K. 5K for me.
5K, 10K. Definitely those two. Can take a bit of time off that half in the Marrow with those skyscrapers on Strava going well. So
fast switch type operator.
So Kirk, Ian, Dixon, thank you so much for your Patreon support. If this show brings you value, Inside Running Podcast on Patreon, we would greatly appreciate your support. Heaps of bonus content over there. Get the show early. If it's worth a capsicum, we would love your support on Patreon to keep the show alive each and every week. Makes us accountable to keep showing up. Running news, boys. Kick it off. Doha Diamond League. I just watched the highlight thing. Croaks, you know, the one they put on Foxtel?
Yeah, so I record it live and then I just watch it the next morning. So I get to see like all the events.
Well, that's a good idea, because I watched this highlight thing and they skipped the races. They didn't even show the 800 metres in full.
That's no good.
That's shocking. The 1500, they show the first 200, then go to the last lap. And you're like, what are you guys doing? Anyway, so I've got some stuff to comment on, but you'll be able to comment on a bit more then. We'll start with the steeple. Ben Buckingham, he was 14th, last position, 9.06, so well outside his PB of 8.20. The race was won in 8.09, really close finish. And he was 20 seconds behind the second last runner. So I'm hoping all is good with Bucks, because he is so much better than that performance indicates. And I know, what did he run last week? 8.40 we were talking about?
Yeah, so
which wasn't great from him. It was windy.
Conditions were brutal though. It was hot and windy, like really windy. So all the races were pretty tactical. No one was really willing to go and do a lot of work into the wind.
So was he in the pack and then got dropped? Is that what you're saying?
No. So he was sort of right at the back of the field to start with. And then sort of halfway through the race, I'd actually thought he may have pulled out because you just couldn't see him at all. So yeah, I wasn't sure. As I said, I thought he'd pulled out, but then I saw the result. It was 9:06. So obviously not ideal, but at the end of it, like, it just goes to show though, like, that this is the pinnacle of the sport, Diamond League, and if you're not at the top of your game, like, you just get shown up. So
second race in the season, his season as well. Like, he's missed the most of summer, so he's building into stuff.
Yeah.
800 metres.
Is he injured?
Well, I think he was injured most of the summer, yeah, because he didn't race at all. I mean, remember, didn't do nationals. Even that Adelaide, the steeple over at Adelaide, he wasn't there, and that was early. Like, that was Jan, wasn't it?
Didn't he he did the Adelaide one. He won the Adelaide one, I thought.
Did he do the Adelaide one and then nothing since?
And then nothing after that, yeah.
So that would have been Jan, though, wouldn't it? It's pretty early days.
Yeah, I think, it was one of the first meets.
Yeah. 800 metres, Pete Bol came second, 149.35. Did it? He was kind of off the back, 250 metres to go, and then closed really hard. Nearly won it. Like, a guy just ran away from him a bit with probably 120 metres to go. He got the break on them, but yeah, Pete Bol looked strong there. Quality field as well there as Croaks. So he was racing some big boys in the 800 metre world, which he is a big boy. So you kind of
he's
expect
now.
him. Yeah.
Closed, like, he did close really well, because I thought with like just over 200 to go, like, he's going to struggle to finish high up here, and then to finish second, first race of this, I guess, international season, was a good result.
And then the 1500, we had two boys in that. We had Matt Ramsden, who finished 6th in 3:38.8, and Stewy was 11th in 3:48.6. Was won by Kipsang of Kenya in 3:35, just in front of Tim Chariot. So deep field there as well. Did read the Athletics Australia post. It said that Stewy strained. Can you guys remember what it was off the top of your head?
No, I didn't read that. I didn't.
Yeah, I'll look that up now. But Croaks, do you want to maybe comment on the race, because you would have seen it in full?
Yeah, so it was typical Stewy at the start. So, like, once he got up to full speed, like, tucked in right behind the pacemakers, and it looked like he was absolutely sprinting. Like, I'm like, wow, it didn't look like sort of 1500 meter tempo. Like, and then, like, I can't remember what point, but he just started to sort of get filed back through the field. And I don't know whether he sort of just jogged it in towards the end, but like, he was well out of it, sort of halfway through the race. You could tell that it wasn't going to be his day. I thought Ramsden was pretty competitive. Like, obviously the top two guys were a step above everybody else, but Ramsden, to finish 6th, not a bad result.
Who was second?
Chariot, yeah. They were pretty close down the straight.
Did you see that? Keep saying
two of the best 5 in the world.
Yeah.
Stewy, if you include it, really. I mean, he wasn't on that day, but he's in there.
Let me tell you about Stewy here. Trying to find what this strain was. I'm scanning the whole article. This isn't great. A gluteal strain in the first 110 metres.
Right.
Yeah, it did look like he was, like, as I said, it looked like he was running fast, like sprinting sort of thing. So
he was fanging it, trying to catch up to him and go wide to get around him. And then you looked up and they were still 20 metres ahead of him. Yeah.
So hopefully he's all right, because he's down to run Birmingham like this weekend or later this week. But if he's torn something, I doubt he'll be there.
You can't. Torn muscles take months.
Mm-hmm. It's strain the same as the tear.
Pretty much. Well, like,
is it? Yeah.
But my calf, like, that was a strain, and you still need, if it's a grade 1 strain, like, it still takes like 10 days or whatever.
Okay.
But the problem is, if you come back too soon, you pretty much restart that 10 days, like, because it just re-tears again. Yeah.
There's like a scale. There's no like one spot where it becomes a strain and a tear, but the tear is right at one end, the very bad end.
And probably run of the night was Jess Hull. She was in the women's 3K, and this was deep. Like, this was a world championship final, Olympic final kind of field. Well, maybe other than what's her name? Netherlands.
Hassan,
yeah. I was saying that statement. I'm like, I probably need Hassan there to really make that true. But she was third. She ran 8:40.97. Took down some scalps in that last lap. And I only saw the last lap, Croaks, because that's where they hooked to on the coverage. But she was there. Like, they were closing and she was just sticking there. And the first two got away. But she was the best of the rest. And, yeah, really took some names in that last 100 metres.
You know the thing Jess does really well? Like, she's such a good tactician.
Yeah.
She's always in the right spot at the right time. That's the thing that was the standout for me, was that she tactically, I thought, ran perfect.
Yeah.
Was always sort of in that top three or so, just, staying out of trouble, but also not being sort of boxed in, like, towards the end.
Highest finish she's had, like first podium she's had at the Diamond League as well. So got to take that confidence into the season coming up for her. Pretty good stuff. That was Doha. Moose, tell us about Great Ocean Road Marathon Festival.
Well, yeah, the premier running event on the calendar this week. We had a lot of events down there. They've added some more too. So they've added trail races, which we talked about in the lead up. But the road racing events, we kicked off. Well, we kicked off with a 6K, but it's not on here. We kicked off with the 14K. Andre Waring won it. So he's backed that up. He won last year as well. 41.34. He beat Alex Ritchie 42.43, and your mate Matt Buckle 43.43. So pretty spread out there. The women's race was really deep. Actually, this was the highlight of the weekend. This race, Kelly Thackeray won, and we'll talk about her later as well. But she ran 46.29, and she beat Melissa Duncan 47.10 with Stella Radford 47.35. So 3 national class runners in that field, and Thackeray the best of them, 46.29. Half marathon next day went off. Well, it's 23K really. Andre Waring won it, double, so good payday down there for Andre. He ran 1:12.41 for 23. I'm not going to read out every single number here. So Andre Waring won. Gunther, the main man for Geelong Cross Country, he ran 1:14 for second, and then he beat Brett Alice by about 10 seconds. In the ladies, Rachel McGuinness won. She did well at Melbourne Marathon. She ran 1:22.45, which is the equivalent of going through in about 76 minutes through the half. Jessica Jason was next, 3 minutes back, and Cara Foote third. The marathon, good battle in the men's for a long portion of the race, probably till about, I think it was about 30K when Dion Finocchiaro put the foot down and took off, and he ran 2:30.20 for the overall distance, which is like 44 and a bit. They've got him going through 2:21.50, but I think the timing mats were off based on chats with both Ash Watson, who was in second, who ran 2:32.35, and John Dutton in third for 2:33.44. So, yeah, John and Ash said they didn't think it was in the right spot, but it's always so hard to know on that course. There's twists and turns everywhere. At the start, you can run on both sides of the road, and at the end, you're limited to one side of the road. So I don't know how you would get the accurate distance on that. It's basically impossible unless you do it properly, like measure it properly. There is a 60K. Zach Beasley won, followed, and Sarah Jayamaha was the ladies' winner. So yeah, big event, a lot of events down there. Very good vibe, well executed event. I like it. It's good. It's good vibes. Everyone stays down there. There's a lot of buzz around the town, and you just know the people down there. Like, everyone's running. It's you kind of get the feeling when you see someone, you're like, oh yeah, you're running something, and it's just a lot of like-minded people in the one spot.
Missed the women's results there, Moose. We'll just go through them before I go to the Sydney Morning Herald. So Kirstin Bull won the women's in... Oh, you do it? Go for it. There you go. Kirstin Bull, 3:04.28. Sarah Coulter, second, 3:06.49. And Danny Rogan, 3:08.56.
Kirstin Bull, 4-time winner of the event. Mm-hmm. She actually equals fellow 4-time winner of the event. So very good effort from Kirsten. Very difficult thing to do, Kirsten.
Yeah, 4 times. I thought it was 3.
Lucky I brought that up then, Moose. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got that plug in if I didn't.
How did
go through the women's results?
The only result that was interesting to me.
She goes and wins it next year, so she just got that title.
Yeah, I'm back next year, baby. Don't worry.
So yeah, Sydney Morning Herald half was on Sunday in Sydney, and we might start with the women because Callie Thackeray, after running down on the Great Ocean Road, she flew from Melbourne to Sydney and won the women's event in 73.29 from Leanne Pompiani, 74.22, and Abigail Nordberg was third in 75.17. So Eloise Wellings was also in the race, but we think, based on Instagram, she may have had a sore back at 13K and was a DNF. So, and then in the men's result, Liam Adams.
Before we do that, sorry, can you run us through this from Callie Thackeray? So that's a big turnaround because that's an afternoon race, the 14K. It's not an early morning or anything. So she's run that in the Arvo. Then she's had to get back to Melbourne Airport, probably around 3-hour trip back to the airport, flown to Sydney, however long the whole flight setup is. That is a very short turnaround to run a pretty hard half marathon, hilly, good field, very good field. And then she has the Birmingham Diamond League next week?
Yeah. So she jumped on a plane straight after that half on the Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I think she's in hospital now though over in England, isn't she?
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she put up an Instagram story. I think something happened to her feet, like how they blow up sometimes on the airplanes.
Oh yeah.
And then she was in hospital. So I hope she's all good.
It's
a huge 3 days.
It's a pretty risky thing to do, right? In my mind, you've got you just talked about Diamond League, didn't you? The one in Japan in Doha, sorry, about how if you're not up to scratch, you're going to get shown up.
Yeah.
I just this is her biggest race of her career, and then 1 week before you run 2 long distance road runners. 14K ain't nothing to be scoffed at. That's a serious run, and then a half marathon with all the traveling and commuting. That is, I don't know. I can't see that being a good thing.
Good for the wallet though, Moose. $1,000 on Saturday, $5,000 on Sunday.
Yeah, chasing a bit of cash for the
6K weekend
to get her through the summer in UK.
That's true. You can go on training camps with that money, and that's probably part of the realities that not a lot of people would realize. That's the kind of things you might have to do to live like she does as a professional runner. But that's the problem, right? That's our problem.
So obviously she's done these races. You'd think for the financial value that she gets. I think was it $6,000 for winning the half?
5 for the half, and then 1 for the 14.
But then from her, she's pretty much qualified for World, so she doesn't have to chase times anymore. But then you look at somebody like Izzy Bat-Doyle. She did a 10K in the US, and then did another 10K in the UK just the weekend gone, which we'll talk about shortly. And then she's doing 5K at Birmingham as well. So there's 2 10Ks and a 5K in the space of 2 weeks. But her reason for doing it is to try and, I guess, qualify for Worlds or Commonwealth Games, you'd imagine. So I guess they're the tricky things that pro athletes have to deal with, either trying to cash in and make money or chase qualifiers.
There is the argument out there that athletes don't race as much as they used to, and I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but some people refer to it as being a bad thing, and that the racing often contributes to their fitness level. It teaches them race tactics, I guess, or takes away sort of race anxiety because we race they're racing more often. They're practicing how to race.
And shoe technology probably makes it easier to race more often than it used to.
Yep, agreed. And would that 14K been easy for her? 14k is a weird distance. Like, did she have to push
About
herself?
13 and a half, to be honest. It's not a full 14.
Like
it's
her
a bit
running
hilly.
46.29, like, is that more thresholdy than race effort? She
Don't
won
know.
by
What
40
does that
seconds.
even equal? Yeah. 40 seconds, though. 40 seconds is not that much if she put 40 seconds on. And I know they stayed together for quite a way, I think. Or, yeah, I think they might have. So 40 seconds, say she put that in the last 7K, that's still a race.
She won by 50 seconds the next day. She won both of them easy.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously fit. Like, there's no doubt that she's going really well. I mean, you look at Leanne Pompiani, she ran 31:43.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
About that,
At
yeah.
the Sydney 10. That doesn't line up to 74:22, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I've done this once before, and like the course has changed since then, but it's certainly not a flat course, and I believe it was reasonably like muggy down there. Which, like, you look at the men's time, so like Liam Adams won the men's in 64:49, Tim Vincent second in 65:33, and Liam Buden third in 66:21. Like that, they're not quick times for the caliber of those athletes either.
Yeah, Tim ran 61 a couple of months ago. March.
I think when you look at times and course or conditions, you take out the front person because they're doing enough to win.
Yeah.
And so you look at second, third, fourth, fifth, because they are on their limit. Obviously, if they could have gone faster, they would have. So
Tim's about 4 minutes off.
Yeah.
From what he ran over in Rome, which obviously would have been like a super flat, fast course.
That's right. They're not
and
fast.
Leanne's about 4 minutes off what she ran in Melbourne.
And Liam recently ran 29:20, didn't he? Which equates to way bit quicker than 66.
Yeah.
Third. Yeah. So slow course, that's what you're saying,
Tough
Sydney.
course. Tough course.
Anything more to report there, Croaks?
Oh no, just Joel Tobin White was a DNF as well.
Oh, yeah. So they were both Eloise and Joel in the pre-race media had quotes and stuff from them, and then they both didn't finish. So the two favourites not getting to the finish line, so hope all is good there.
A leader in sports micronutrition, Pillar Performance is changing the way micros are used in running performance and for endurance athletes globally. Pillar has become the choice of Australian sport thanks to their formulation quality and batch testing program. Currently working with Ben St. Lawrence, Izzy Bat Doyle and Lucy Bartholomew, along with more than 40 professional sporting teams. Made by athletes for athletes, Pillar leaves no stone unturned when it comes to ingredient quality and potency. Offering some of the strongest formulations on the market, Pillar's range supports optimal recovery, elevates energy production, relieves inflammation, and boosts immunity. When it comes to recovery, their best-selling triple magnesium powder is a must-have for any serious runner, featuring 3 forms of bioavailable magnesium to optimize recovery, improve sleep, and have you backing up after every session. Ramping up your program in the lead up to the Gold Coast Marathon, Pillar's vitamin C and zinc is perfect to help fight off sickness while your training load is high during the colder months. The Pillar team has an exclusive offer for Inside Running listeners. Head to their website and use the code INSIDE20 to receive 20% off at checkout when you purchase 2 products or more. To redeem this offer, or for more information on Pillar's performance and their range of sports micronutrition, head to pillarperformance.shop.
9 of 10 1,000 metre PBs, Izzy Bat Doyle we spoke about. She was 4th in that race, 31:40. 3-second PB for her, but still 15 seconds off that qualifying time at 31:25. I watched this. It was a really good feed. This is an amazing meet. Two tents, front and back straight. They've got like the walkway that goes over the home straight to get the pedestrians or the fans into the middle of the track. Fire like going off, music. They have a motorbike humming around like with a video camera on the back. So the footage you're seeing, it actually shows how fast they actually go when you see footage like that. I will hope someone could put a meet on, like make Zatopek this, please. Whoever's in charge of Zatopek, it would be absolutely amazing. I think it was free to get into.
No, keep Zatopek. Yeah. Keep Zatopek. Zatopek is Zatopek. It's a championship race. Make another one.
This could be like a Steigen.
Exactly.
This could be a Steigen thing.
I'm just saying, get the marquees at Zatopek.
Well, you take some elements, but don't make it like. Don't make it a spectacular like that. It's got its own vibe, Zatopek. It's got its own heritage. You can't ruin that.
True.
But
you can't take field events out either.
Yeah, you're right about the Steiger meet. That was on its way to be this meet, I reckon. And a few things. Obviously, well, I don't know what happened exactly, but it's not on anymore.
COVID was probably part of it.
Yeah, but then you could, I reckon, Brady, you're the man for this.
I don't have the time, Moose.
You do.
I don't. I think we should put on an event as from the Inside Running podcast one year. It'd be put our heads together, get people involved. Yeah,
Geelong, I reckon.
You just need to hire a track, and then you do the rest of it. You know, once you got the track and the event certified, get the officials, then you can just do the rest. Maybe down the track, but not in. I need these kids to grow up a bit. You know what it's like with young kids.
Yeah, well, maybe like Geelong would be the perfect place because like you're the big dog in town, Moose. So you'd be able to, you know people that would be able to give us those tents and have all that set up, and
the tents. Who's got tents?
Geelong Party Hire.
What sort of tents are we talking about? I do actually.
Marquees.
How do you know about Geelong Party Hire?
I know there's a Bendigo Party Hire, so I just changed the name to Geelong. Nailed it.
That's funny.
So and then you make them event sponsor. You get a few isn't there a brewery across the road from that track there? Little Creatures.
Oh yeah.
Get them involved. They can do the bar. Just push kegs along the road.
I told you you'd be good at it.
Yep. Oh, I've got whatever ideas, but doing the actual work, I don't have the time for. If you put a committee together, and I'm happy to be on the committee.
You know when we should do it? November, so people can get qualifying times for Zatopek.
Oh yeah, there's nothing on in November either. Cross country and road season finishes, and then people want stuff to do. That's why they all go down to Burnie 10.
November.
Anyway, so Isabel Doyle just missed the time there, but a PB and improved her time from 1 week earlier in the States. Georgia Griffith was in the 1500 there. She won the race in a mile, 4:27. Sarah Billings was 7th in 4:37. So good to see a bit of action there for the Australians. Jess Judd won the race. She ran a 2:55 last K, 65-second last lap to run 31:22. So she's going to the world champs. And the Italian Cripper, he won the men's race. Don't have the time in front of me, but I think it was 27:13 or 27:16, something like that.
Yeah, yep.
Pretty quick time. So that was that. Ed Goddard was over Copenhagen as well. He had another crack at getting... Well, there's no qualifying time, so I guess if you think of world champs, there is the 2:11:30, or to better his PB to kind of get that Comm game spot. He ran at 2:14:59 at Copenhagen, so I've got to say that's his third. No, I think he ran 2:15 at Melbourne, but that's his second 2:14. They're all landed around the same mark, haven't they?
Consistent, but it's a lot of marathons in the space of 6 months?
Yeah,
less than 6 months.
Yep, December through to now. And then the big news was that the Commonwealth Games team, some athletes have been announced. So this was yesterday, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong here, boys, but I think we've got 67 spots allocated for the athletics team. Something like that.
It was around that. It wasn't a lot. I think there was around, wasn't there 100 for Gold Coast?
Yeah. And I think they announced 30, 35 or 37 yesterday. So what it means for the marathoners is Sinead Diver and Liam Adams were both there, which would expect because they both qualified from their results at the Tokyo Olympics last year. And Jack Rayner was also listed as the men's second marathon spot. There's also some track guys there as well, but we'll get to those in the coming weeks. Thoughts here? Nothing surprising, is there? Maybe the Jack call?
Jack's the only one, but basically everybody that's been selected that was announced yesterday were the people that had won nationals basically and had the qualifying time, so they were automatic. And Sinead and Liam, as you said, were already automatic through their Olympic result. Jack was, I guess, the sort of one of the discretion selections, I suppose. So a little bit surprising that they've just named him and not any other marathoners. So, obviously there'll be two more females picked.
Brad? Or do you think this is it?
No, I reckon there'll be more.
Why name the discretionary spot with Jack now? Why not name them all at the same time or hold Jack off and then save him for the next announcement?
That's it. I thought they would have announced Sinead and Liam because they were already automatic, then the rest of the marathoners at a later date. Which, look, let's hope that there's more to come. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, it's just maybe there's not more to come. Like maybe they're all going to world champs, but then there's 4 females for 3 spots at world champs.
I think there'll be more to come. Like our female marathoners are just so good and have run so fast that you can't leave like a 225, 226 girl at home, surely.
So no, you could send them to world champs, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But who's sitting around that panel meeting? Sorry, Moose. You go.
Well, to give the listeners an idea on the girls that are in the contention, you have Lisa Waitman, you have Eloise Wellings,
yep.
Jess Trengove, Millie Clark.
Yep.
Millie Clark has a time.
Yep. No
so those, they're the what did I say? 3?
4. No, there's 4. 4 for 3 world champ spots, and potentially 2 more Comm game spots. So
you would like, when are they going to select the Comm Games team? It's just, even like we spoke to Jess, she said that she hadn't chatted with them. It must be so hard to know what to do as an athlete in their position. Like, what are you training for? You got to know what you need. Like, I think some communication here would be really beneficial for these ladies.
Because what are they? They'd be pretty much in like their marathon. Like they'd be wanting to start their marathon block by now, because it's 12 weeks. It's less than 12 weeks away.
28th of July, yeah.
Which 12 weeks is a pretty standard sort of marathon prep. Like,
more than that though, if you're going to Eugene, you'd want to start doing your heat stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you've got like Jack. Jack's a good name here. Like, you've given him early notice, and you've backed him in as a younger, developing athlete who they've probably pegged and gone, this bloke's going to be running multiple Olympic Games from now on. He's got a real future, so let's give him some more champion experience. And that's what I think the Comm Games should be about for a lot of the athletes, is blooding them for future world champs and Olympic Games preparations. So it makes, like, I like the selection of Jack there, definitely. On the women's side, if you think, okay, they've picked Sinead for the Olympic spot, out of those athletes, it's kind of tough to pick like the developing athlete from Lisa, Eloise, Millie, and Jess, isn't it?
None of
veterans.
None of them are really developing.
No.
They're established names.
It's going to be a really tricky selection.
Yeah.
I've got a sick feeling they're leaving one of them off and they're sending the other 3 to world champs.
Like, best case is they all get a run. Like, 3 go to world champs, which I guess Lisa can't go to world champs because she hasn't got the time.
That's right.
She hasn't got the time. So the only one that she can go to is Comm Games, I guess.
So why wouldn't they name her now? And what about my boy Andy Buchanan?
Yeah.
What do you think with that?
Who knows? And I guess this is the thing. We just don't know whether they've actually got spots to be able to send them or not. We don't know that.
Well, I looked that up. They'd picked 32 the other day. So there's still a few spots there. But they're still a huge team, isn't it? Chucking their relays, things like that. Watch this space. Hopefully next week we've got a full team. Because I want to get a Road to Comm Games podcast series going for Patreon fellas. But I need to know who's on the team. That's going to help.
That's important.
That is important. Just tee someone up and they end up not getting selected. More to come in that development there. I'm going to skip listener questions, boys, because we've got about 7 minutes until I need to go to Welshie, our special guest. So I'm going to go to Training Talk, and this week's Training Talk segment is proudly sponsored and brought to you by Lululemon. Lululemon have designed technical gear with the runner in mind to last more than a season. Head to lululemon.com.au to find out more. And it's my turn this week, fellas. And what I want to talk about this week is something that is a big error, I think, in a lot of people's training. And before I start this one, I just want to say that this one isn't directed at anyone. And I am was the king of making this error in my training for many, many years. But I see it coming up constantly on my Strava feed. And I think it's about educating people that making this error in your training is not a good thing, and it really gives you false hope when you go into races. Do you know what I'm talking about, boys?
industrial estate courses?
Yeah, we've had many conversations about GPS-friendly loops. And I've been thinking about a bit of a formula. And this happened today. Archie and I were training today. I wear a Coros, he wears a Garmin. Training next to each other, we get significantly different splits on our watches. We did a mile rep today. We turned 3 times in the mile. I got 306 average, he got 302. I think that's a significant difference. And I see it all the time, people running around these short loops. And I think we need to have a conversation about why that's bad for your running and why it can be misleading for your training data, and why it isn't a great indication of actually the shape you're in. And as I said, I'm the king of making this mistake. I've cooked myself in a few marathons thinking I was in certain shape, and then you get to the start line and you're like, you know what, this is feeling a bit harder than it did hooking around my short loops at the industrial estate.
This is a good topic from you.
It is, yeah, I was thinking about it.
I agree.
Yeah. And the big thing, I've got a few I've been trying to work out some formulas. So, like, if you can, and obviously you're going to make turns in your training all the time. Like, it's something you can't avoid, and doing reps on long straight roads is, can be boring, and it's something that's not achievable in most cities, towns, wherever you're doing your training. So it is going to be a thing that you're making turns in your training. And I was trying to think today about a certain rule. Do you guys have one? I was thinking maybe 2 seconds per turn. I think the watch, and I'm talking more Garmin than Coros here, I think your watch gives you 2 seconds quicker per turn per 1K. Does that make sense?
What are you doing this for?
Yeah, I don't know if you can come up with a number.
This is not required.
Well, I'm just saying for people, if you're doing reps and stuff, you're like, you probably need to take 2 seconds off that, because there's no way you go into turns and you come out of turns actually being quicker. That's why the Nike sub 2 thing, they didn't want turns in it, because it slows people down. So if you're getting data coming out of turns,
do you think this is necessary though, or is this what this is doing is confusing people even more?
True.
You're turning a really simple thing into something complex here.
I'm just saying, yeah, be aware of it, and if you want a number, just use your 2 seconds.
Be aware of it. I think if someone's educated on the fact that this might not be accurate, and not to go pin their hopes on this type of pace for their race, then that's probably enough. But I agree with you. I do think that this is becoming more and more of a thing. It's only happened since Strava, really. Well, it may have happened since GPS watches first came in, but I don't remember doing it before Strava. But I've felt the temptation to go run short, they're not shorter loops, but they're friendly loops, right? Where you look like you've done a better workout than you actually have.
Yeah, and they're loops where you're turning very often. So you might turn four times in a K.
Sometimes it's just a twisty course, or sometimes you might go through a forested area where your GPS drops out or whatever.
Yeah, trees.
It will give you a good reading at the end. I remember I had to stop some athletes running workouts on the crit track in Geelong because they were going there every single week because of how good their data looked with their workouts, and it was driving me insane because you knew it wasn't real, but they were getting this almost like
false sense of hope.
But surely deep down they knew it. They know it as well. Like my theory is that if you look down and you see that you're running significantly faster than you have anywhere else, if it looks too good to be true, then it is. You know what I mean? Like, you don't all of a sudden improve overnight. Like, I know that there's a loop here in Canberra that I used to, it's like 800 meters around, and always run, the split's always quicker there. Yeah. So you know, and that's where I think if you race regularly, you then know that your training times don't stack up if you're running around a short loop.
I think it's a culture thing, though. That's what I didn't like about it. I found that the athletes always were trying to manicure the perfect workout because they would rock up, and if it was windy, then we're going to go to somewhere where it's not windy, or if it's raining, or we'll go later in the day, or we'll go to the crit track because it's generous on the GPS, and it just creates this culture where you're trying to you're just skipping stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Like, you're not willing to go and put yourself in some some, what do you call it? What's the word? Adversity, exactly. You're not willing to go and run into a headwind or on a course that's like not going to look good on your watch later. I found that once you take all that stuff away, like some of the best results that I've had with athletes are the ones that don't care about that stuff.
You look at the trade-off. So the trade-off is you go and train on a short loop and it makes your Strava look good, but then you go and race and it just sets you up for disappointment. Whereas you go and train somewhere that's tough, that may not look quite as good on Strava, but you then go and surprise yourself on race day. I know which one of those scenarios I would prefer.
Yeah. Now, a way to know this as well is when you open up your Strava on the laptop and you open one of your runs or one of your workouts. I'm just on ours this morning, and if you go down to the very bottom, you can see the graph, the pace graph. And then if you move the cursor along, it shows you where on the map you're actually running. And you can pretty much hover over where the corners are. And yeah, if you're seeing that pace dramatically drop, that means it's cutting the corner and it's coming back way faster than you're actually running. So you should be slowing down through corners, not like I'm just on this one now, and this pace is dropping from 305 pace to 250 pace through the corner. You do that 3 times over a K. It's going to affect that case data for sure.
So moral of the story, try and find...
I think a lot of people make this mistake, though, without knowing it.
Yeah. So
I'm not so much, going for the people that deliberately go to these courses. I'm like, just be aware that, like, if you're doing workouts and there's corners which they're going to be, that your data's going to be a bit off.
Try and find straight roads.
Yeah, that's your... You can combine that. You want to go people.
For those people, because they're the ones. You know what? They were the ones that would prefer 8 great workouts on Strava in a row with kudos and comments than they would a great race at the end. That some people just have different things that they want, and those people that love the attention, the kudos, the glory, the Strava glory, they often don't care about the race as much as the ones that get out there on the tough courses in the wind, in the dark, the rain, the hills,
stuff moves. That's why cross country's good.
Mate, I know.
Don't even look at your watch doing that. Yeah,
I'm with you. Different people, different athletes.
Check your data. That's all I'm saying on this one, just to see if that's your data might be jumping around a bit, which is giving you false hope in training. So thanks again to this week's Training Talk partner, Lululemon. Their new run range is designed with lightweight fabrics, thoughtful features like key-size zipper pockets and mesh paneling to keep you running whatever the weather. Visit lululemon.com.au. Going to be a review and a bit of that gear coming up, boys. I'm going to skip listener question. Going to go to our guest, if that's okay with you. Moose, do you want to make that your Moose on the Loose for this week? So then we can skip that segment as well.
Done. Hate that.
I was more going for the education side of things, but...
No, you weren't.
I was. No, I was.
You're just too much of a pussy to call them out.
No, because I wish I wish I could listen to a podcast of that 4 years ago before I was doing it.
Yeah, well, you were that person.
Didn't we? We called you out on it, didn't we?
These blokes don't know what they're talking about. I was thinking. I went to Berlin 3 times thinking I was going to run 2:16. And that's it. And that's the problem, listeners. It's like one of those AA meetings, when you get mentored by someone who's already been an alcoholic. This is exactly what that is. Trying to make the world a better place. Richard Welsh.
Off some names.
We got you. How are we going? Thanks for joining us on the Inside Run podcast.
Always a pleasure.
The run director of the Launceston Running Festival coming up in about a month's time. Welshie, thanks for giving us some time.
Yeah, it's a nice break to talk about a local event from my day job at the moment of organising World Cross Country, so I'm loving it.
Oh, I did
congratulations
on that.
Yeah. General manager of next year's World Cross Country Champs in Bathurst, so awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, to be honest. Someone's got to do it. I was happy to, so let's give it a rip.
Can you just dumb that down for me, Welshie? What does that mean? What does you actually roll? What are you doing?
So, as you can imagine, there's a whole bunch of things that need to be done at a World Cross Country. So you've got a course, you've got to promote it, you've got to broadcast it, you've got to have medical, you've got to get all the teams there. So I'm not doing any of that, but I'm making sure that it does happen. So just coordinating it all.
Just delegation.
Top dog.
There you go.
That's it. And you can do a lot of that from Tassie, or you got to go to Bathurst a bit? A few trips?
I've had the pleasure of going to Bathurst twice in the last couple of weeks. Beautiful town. Recommend coming on Feb 18. So mostly I'll be doing it from Tassie, but with a few trips, of course. I've been in the AA office in Melbourne twice in the last month as well, just wrapping my head around all the conversations to have with people, of which there's quite a few, as you can imagine, lots of people involved. But yeah, I've been organising events from afar, so it's no different, and working from home is not a new concept these days, that's for sure.
Yeah, Feb's going to come around quick. Like, I think because it's been postponed so many times throughout the pandemic, it felt like it's just it's disappeared a bit, so it's going to be good to put it back on the radar.
Bathurst 2023.0.
Okay.
So, Welshie, do you know when the trials will be held?
A date hasn't been confirmed, but the latest information I have will be in January in Canberra. The reason being, we really wanted to get on the course in Bathurst, but it's a pretty popular motorsport venue, as you know, so getting access to the venue is a challenge. So we don't get it until a week before our actual event. So the trial won't be on the trial, but stay tuned for an announcement soon. There will be an opportunity for people to have a test run of the course this year at some stage.
Cool, that's cool. Geez, we'll send some strong teams too, won't we? Just thinking about some of the names. A few blokes will go out to Falls Creek, absolutely flog themselves over Jan for those trials, and then, be fit as fiddles.
That's it.
Anyway, Welshie, we're here to talk about the McGrath-Launceston Running Festival coming up on June 12th, 2022. Croaks and I are both going, so it's going to be good to see two of us down there. Moose is a bit injured at the moment, but I'm sure he'd love to be down there racing a 10K. But what can you tell us this far out? How are entries looking? How are big names looking? Course has had a little change, I heard, for the 10K. But you got the half marathon there as well, the kids race.
Where do you want to start?
Oh, where you go. What do you want to tell us first?
Well, look, the traditional Launceston 10K, both the men and the women's fields this year are coming along very nicely. We've changed the course, which mostly impacts the half marathon. It basically gets rid of the hill for anyone who knew about the half marathon. We're having the same start-finish line. So it's still out and back, essentially, for the 10K, and the turn will be at about the same spot. So minor changes for the 10K, with the exception of the start line. Looking at the fields, the men's fields at the moment, I'm just seeing how many sub-30 guys have we got. That's always a nice little litmus test. So there's 14 with a PB of sub-30. They include, in a ranked order of PBs, Kieran Tall, Kieran Perkins, James Hansen, Adrian Potter, Liam Buden, Archie Reid, your man, Brady.
Yep.
Tim Vincent, who's in great shape. Nathan Stowart. Sam Clifford, who broke 30 minutes for the first time at this event last year. Riley Cox, who broke the South Australian half marathon record at this event last year. He's going to drop back and he wants to reset his 10K PB. Michael Roger, of course, needs no introduction. Brady and Croaks and Jacob Cox as well. And a guy that'll be busting at the chop to break 30. He ran 30.04 at the Think Big Run the Bridge earlier in the year. Bailey Mazecki-Hintz, the Collis Birmingham-trained Hobart athlete, will be looking to break 30. And a token gesture, we'll keep going down the list for one more name because it is Zach Newman, your boy.
Oh, yeah, Zach, he'll love that shout out there. Nice field. What about the women?
The women's, so we've got Leanne Pompiani, who not quite in 31.50 shape, but going very, very nicely indeed. She's got a PB of 32.26, so she's our top-ranked runner. But the big name in the field, of course, is Jess Stenson, multiple Olympian, second in the half marathon, the inaugural year of it 2 years ago, but coming to run the 10K. Then we've got the in-form gun, Natalie Rule, will be pretty tough to beat. She's, I say only in inverted commas, got a PB of 32.46, but this is the course for her to set the world alight on this one, I think, over 10K, and she's had a really strong year. They're probably the top ones at the moment in the women's 10K. And then we've got the halves as well, boys. You want to hear about them?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep,
cool. So in the men, we've got your boy. I'm giving him the bib. Are you happy with the bib of JTW?
Joel Tobin White. We pulled out of his half marathon. We are just talking about him before we come on air. Do you know if everything's all good with him? He pulled out at Sydney over the weekend.
Well,
you know he's injury prone too. I'll get worried when I see Joel's name on start list. Hopefully he's all good.
Yeah. I mean, talking about him 26 days out is probably a little bit too early for us, isn't it, really?
I do like the bib though, JTW.
All right, we'll give him JTW. I'm drinking a new whiskey, by the way. It's called the Welshie, and I got to make it myself at the distillery on my 40th birthday. It was the best present ever by my wife. I digress. Liam Adams messaged me on the weekend, and he said he needs to reset his PB for the half marathon. It's 62:51. He got the win in Sydney on the weekend. He'll be very keen to get the win, and having been named in the Australian marathon team for the Commonwealth Games this week, he's keen to go in there with a new PB for a half. Nick Earl, Brett Ellis, Sam Hopper, and interesting, Andre Waring make his debut. What do you reckon he can run for a half?
Yeah, quick. He had a big weekend at the Great Ocean Road, winning 2 races in 2 days. So I think he went through 67 for his half marathon split there, but that was a day after a 14K and probably just there to pick up some prize money. So I'm going to say 63:20. That's my early prediction for Andre.
Yeah, nice. Well, it is, I reckon it's about 30 seconds quicker than the previous course that we had, which is already got... Robbo ran 61:37 in the first year, so it's quick. And then in the women, it's pretty loaded, just quietly. It's a small field, but it's good. Sinead Diver, freshly named in the Australian team for the Commonwealth Games. Eloise Wellings, Millie Clark, Abby Nordberg, and Brooke Williams is making her debut as well. So these fields are not completely filled out. I'm hopeful that people hear these and go, you know what, I wouldn't mind coming down for that. And I've still got a little bit of travel budget left. So if you're a guy and you can run under 29 for 10K or under 65 for a half, give me a shout. Or the women under 35 for 10K or 75 for a half, give me a shout, because we can support you where we can.
And for the punters, well, when do entries close, and do they have to enter by a certain time to get bibs sent out, or what's the deal there?
No, we have an expo the day before, so we don't mail out bibs. As we know, Australia Post's not that reliable these days, so we say come along and pick them up the day before at the beautiful Silos Hotel, which is our official hotel. It's 200 metres from the start line, so beautiful precinct there in the recently redeveloped part of Riverbend Park and in Launceston. So you can register up until the day before. No dramas there. I did make an oversight though, boys. I thought NFT medals were the go and the future, and so we were actually not going to do physical medals for this year's event and give everyone an NFT. And we were selling, you'll be interested in this, we were selling physical medals in the cart. What percentage of people who were entering online wanted to buy a physical medal?
85%.
20%.
40%.
Yeah, Moose is right. 47% of people were buying them anyway. And we thought, you know what, let's just give everyone one. So we're going to just pump the brakes on doing NFTs for events. We dabbled in them for the Think Big Run the Bridge earlier in the year, and I thought it was the go because personally I've got shed full of medals left over from events, so they don't mean too much to me, but obviously they mean a lot to finishers. So we're going to keep doing finisher medals.
It's pretty cheap entry too, Welshie. Like $34 for a 10K. I know my wife just ended the 10K up at the Gold Coast. I reckon it cost her 95 or 100. So I'd say this course is better than the Gold Coast 10K course as well. Quicker.
I guess it's.
I know you work for the Gold Coast sometimes as well, so we can't go throwing them under the bus too much. But yeah.
No, I love the Gold Coast Marathon. I got a role there again this year as the elite athlete babysitter, as I call myself. But look, it's different events have different price points and different costs. It's cheaper to close roads in Launceston than it is on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing that you've got there. Plus, you probably get a T-shirt included. We're selling them, so little things there. But I don't need to get rich off organising fun runs. I own this event, and if it makes a profit, then my family gets to eat, which is great. But I don't want to fleece the world. I genuinely have a passion for running. It's my sport, and I want to see people, if it's the first fun run that they've ever done, to come and do it and not let money put them off. And, some people have done really well out of COVID and they got plenty of cash, and plenty of people don't. So I have never wanted money to be a reason why someone doesn't enter one of my events. That's just my personal take on things.
Then 59 for the half. Anything else you need to tell us about Welsh before? I've got another question for you, but it's not related to this. So tell me anything about this event that we haven't spoken about before.
Is it Welshie? Is it certified? You got the team down there, mate?
Absolutely. We are big on this. I know it's a hot topic, and I don't want to backhand my race colleagues up in the North Island of Australia, but it's certainly every one of my events down here. So the Burnie 10, the Run the Bridge, and the Launceston Running Festival, they're all fully certified. The 5Ks, the 10Ks, and the half marathon in Lonnie. So we have our World Athletics certificate, no longer an AIM certificate. World Athletics took over, I'm not sure of what it is, but the official logo you get these days is a World Athletics course certification. So we've certainly had that. We've had Dave Cundy come down, and it's all hunky-dory, and we've got a permit as well. It's a Tasmanian Championship, so if you run a PB, it'll appear in your World Athletics profile as well, which lots of people like to see.
Hey, Welsh, a quick question on the certification. So you've made small changes to this year's event. Does that mean the whole course has to get remeasured, or you just measure the bits that get adjusted?
Good question, Croaks. You're on the ball, son. It depends. So we've made minor changes to the start, but when you measure a course, you take a lot of markings along the way, and you call them different sectors. So usually you use a power pole as a reference, because they typically, when there's roadworks, the power poles don't move. So, we might start next to power pole 257 on Doyne Street, for example, and then you've got a point of reference from there to the next one. And Jared Gibson, our local man in Hobart, he has worked with Dave Cundy doing all of the course measurings, and Dave comes down and mentors Jared, and they do the whole thing, but then there's a certain element that Jared can then jump on the bike and use a Jones counter and measure from point to point, and then he diligently goes back again over the weekend and will measure out the different kilometre markings, which then probably takes a fair bit of time. So minor changes like this, you can get away with just tinkering. You don't have to move the whole lot, because you break it into segments. But if you were to do wholesale changes and move corners and change the route, then you got to redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, the back end, isn't it? Hey, Welshie, before we let you go, do you know when the rest of the Commonwealth Games team is going to get announced?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. In terms of the marathon, it's really quite interesting, because you've got world champs and Comm Games so close to one another, obviously. But I reckon that Liam and Sinead were announced this week off the back of their Olympic results, and makes total sense, and they would have had their choice. There'd be some people that'd back up, I would reckon, but I don't think any of the Aussies will. No, your guess is as good as mine. Just because I've got an Athletics Australia email address, I don't sit next to the high performance guys. Sorry.
I was hoping you might have been able to give us something, but that's okay.
No. I know. I'll tell you that Millie wants to go to Oregon instead of Birmingham, so that's the one bit of inside goss that I do know. So she's keen to go and run world champs instead of comms.
Yeah.
Because she's a Nike girl and wants to go run in Nike Town, which makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll just sit on our hands and wait for the announcements, hopefully coming soon. It's not that far away.
Like the rest of us. I think I got half an hour head start on everyone else being, that's what my AA email address got me, as an all-staff email. I found out, Madison De Rosario is going to be on Sunrise in half an hour, so jump on. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That was the heads up, which is cool. But now look, the McGrath Launceston Running Festival, Sunday, June 12. It is the long weekend, so we're calling it the Lon Weekend of Running, Laun, Lon Weekend of Running. And if you can't come down, put in the box to do it before as a lead into Gold Coast or something this year or next year. And we love having interstaters come down. It's a big tourism event for Tasmania, so it's a key thing for us, and we really want to encourage as many people to come down. I think it's the fastest course in Australia, and I'm the race director of the race that's got the fastest 10K ever in Australia at the Burnie 10 and the fastest in the last 3 years at the Run the Bridge, and I think Launceston's quicker. So if you're looking for a PB over 10 or a half, or even the 5K is fully measured, come down and do that. If you can't get here, watch the live stream, and hopefully Pat Smith behaves himself and doesn't drop too many F-bombs.
We'll put that all on our socials as well. And yeah, couldn't agree more. Best 10K in Australia, good town, good course, good organisation. So yeah, looking forward to getting down there again. And thanks again for your time.
Good work. Thanks, boys.
No worries, Welshie.
See you in a few weeks.
Yep, cheers.
All right, fellas, let's wrap this show up. What's coming up, Bradley? You got much coming up at your end?
Single parenting. Actually, Viv's off for a work trip tomorrow till the end of the week, so that'll be interesting. Solo parenting.
Good luck for that. Moose, what do you got coming up?
I'm going to Melbourne tomorrow night for an appointment, and then meetings with brands and stuff. So I'll be busy.
Oh, is this where you get to see all the stuff that's coming out next year?
Yes, it's one of the times. We've got another conference. This is a bit of pre-stuff that I'll go have a look at. A bit of pre-line stuff.
Okay, good boys. We've started a bit of news. We've started selling our tickets for the live show up at the Gold Coast, which must be, for Launceston's 4 weeks, this must be seven or maybe seven.
Just under seven. So it'll be six this weekend coming.
60% of tickets are already sold. So they're going quick. There's still a few left. So if you got to get in early. That's why we wanted to release them early. So yeah, get in early, get yourself a ticket if you're going to be on the Gold Coast this Sunday afternoon, 2:30 to 4:30 at the Southport RSL Club, Croaks. Under 18 kids are allowed as well. We weren't sure about restrictions on the room, but we got that cleared up, and they're all good. May hear a few swear words from Moose's mouth, but other than that, it should be pretty child friendly, I think. Looking forward to seeing you two boys in person and doing a live show. It's always fun.
Yeah, can't wait. It'll be a good weekend away. Or a good week away, actually.
Good. Oh, yeah.
Croaks put his paycheck on the bar, I reckon.
His paycheck. Job. Have you got that locked in, Croaks?
No, so I emailed Ryan last week and he replied on Friday saying he'd been like under the pump at work and that he'd reply this week. So I don't know what that means. So maybe my services are not needed.
Yeah,
I'll have to think about what I'd do then.
Man, you in the half, Croaks.
I might actually just do the marathon.
Yeah, do the marathon.
There you go.
We'll
there you go.
They're giving cash for 220 as well. You get free flights
I haven't run one since 2018, and I remember Moose talking about ages ago that I feel like I just need to run one, and I feel like, I comfortably ran 32k on Sunday, so I feel like that long
run
stuff
went up 15 minutes, Moose.
Yeah,
that's why I went from 2 hours to 2:15.
Even if I was pacing, I still feel like I need to just do some longer stuff. So,
hey, did I tell you about Valencia as well?
Are you locked in?
Yeah, I've got a spot.
Did you just register through the site, or did you contact someone?
Toby Mende, my mate from Ballarat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he sent me an email address to email. I'll flick it to you. I've got to give it to Marantelli as well because he wants to do it as well.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
But it's not. It's just an entry. That's it. Like we're starting back.
That's fine.
But G'day's running. She's debuting.
Yeah, I won't be running with her.
No, I reckon we go with her. Just bank as much time as possible. She'll go through in 66, 67. And at least stay with her till 32, 33.
This is typical Brady marathon talk.
No,
I'm
going for it. No, I'm doing it this year. I had one even split and it only resulted in a 220. So I reckon we go out hard. Hang on. Racing for 5 months, but I'm telling you now. That's what I'm going to do. Get so much airtime being behind her the whole time.
Here we go.
I can't wait. Anyway, so yeah, I'll flick you that email address. We'll go to Valencia. Our man Christian's going to be over there too, he reckons. Anyway, we're done, fellas. See us next week. We'll do it all again.
Have a week.
See ya. This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Pillar Performance, Australia's leading sports micronutrition brand. Head to pillarperformance.shop to learn more about their formulas and how they support recovery, elevate energy, and relieve inflammation.